appreciate the sense of humor, and we try to combine both sense of humor as well as the deeper truths. So I'll take some time. I'll give the platform to Manish before he kicks me.
Shailishanji, that job is my wife. She's in the audience kicking me. So the next topic we have today is harnessing inner self for balanced and meaningful life. This talk will answer questions such as how we can effectively manage ourselves in different facets of life, be it personal, familial, social, professional, or spiritual. What is drive? We talk about people who are very driven, but what actually does it mean? And what are drivers of our lives? So what drives our life? And then what is in our realm of control and what is not? We always think, oh, I should have done that. I didn't do this well. Maybe I had put in this much effort, so on and so forth, because we have this fallacy that things that are happening are totally under our control. So Dr. Mehta will shed some light on these aspects. But before he comes on the stage and delivers his talk, I want you to pull out this handout from your registration packet. It's titled Harnessing Inner Self for Balance and Meaningful Inner Living. So it has a total of 19 questions in it, and if you have a pen handy, I think it would be helpful as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the questions really quickly, and this is a self-reflection thing, so I want you to score yourself and circle or write down the most appropriate thing that applies to you. So if you can go along with me, the first question is, were you aware of your inner self and its functioning? So just circle the answer that's most appropriate for you. Is that better? Yeah. Okay. So the first question is, were you aware of inner self and its functioning? Please circle the appropriate answer. Second question was, did this talk make you look within? That is after the talk. So skip number 2. Were you aware of the purpose of life? Did you have a purpose that was decided? So that's question number 3. And I'm going to kind of hold off for a minute as the pens are getting passed around. So the reason we are doing this is we want you to have a personal idea of where you were at the beginning of the talk and if anything changed after. So trying to gauge any transformation that is occurring in this short period of time. The fourth question was my happiness and fulfillment score. So it's out of 100. You can put down the number that you feel is most appropriate. The fifth one is my score of happy, harmonious, meaningful living. Again, out of 100. How would you score yourself? My score as a spouse, so as a husband or wife. So how would you put that? My score as a parent or as a child. My score overall as a human being. And then the 9th question deals with clashes. Do I have clashes? Do I have inner clashes? That means within yourself. And do I have outer clashes? That means with others. 10th one is adjust everywhere. So the question is, how I do find difficult to adjust with some at work, at home, within my own self. Again, if you can circle the most appropriate answer. 11th question is, are you aware of all beliefs being harbored and the effects of those beliefs? 12th is, would you like to change certain beliefs for better? I would certainly say yes there, but it's up to you. Are you always conscious about your opinions? 14 is my behavior affected by my opinions? 15 is, does my vision remain positive under challenging and adverse situations? Wouldn't we all like that? And the last question that we are going to reflect on is, did you ever thought what is in my realm and what is not? am I an independent doer? So we'll come back to questions 17 to 20 after Dr. Mehta delivers his talk. So Shailesh Anandji, please come to the stage again for your next talk. Thank you.
So now our journey goes little deeper. From diet to speech, now we go to inner self, unseen inner self. Now there are certain questions. Am I leading a balanced life? If I ask myself, what is the meaning and purpose of life? How would I rate or measure my life? Manish Bhai, who is coming after me, will show you. There is a professor at Harvard University teaching economics and management. As a last lecture to his students, he delivered this talk. And believe me, there was not a single word about earning money or something. He taught different philosophy of life. What is more important, outer world and outer circumstances, or my inner world and my inner self? So, going to the balanced and meaningful living, what I perceive or what we have got from the enlightened ones is, we all have outer living and inner living. What do I mean by outer living? We have interactive living, either at family, our own home, with husband, wife, parents, children. We may have professional interactive livings. We may have interaction at some organizations we are working. Here we have different sort of interaction. This is a voluntary or sort of spiritual or sort of holistic inner science. So whatever thing where we are coming in contact with others, it may be at a personal level, familial, social, professional, national or global level. And at the same time we have inner living, that is how I am perceiving, feeling, experiencing, believing, reacting within me during all those phases of life. Right? And both should be balanced, outer and inner, resulting into happy, harmonious living at all levels, as I said, individual, familial, social, professional, national, global, and ecological. Ingredients, we have initially said body, mind, soul. Even WHO now has recognized that initially we used to talk of only physical health. Now we have realized, and even the definition of health has been changed, that it is a total, complete health of body, mind and soul. That matters. In other words, initially we were talking only of IQ, that Einstein has IQ more than 100. Now we pay enough attention to EQ, that is emotional quotient, and SQ, that is the spiritual quotient. Meaning thereby, one may be having a very high IQ, but if the EQ and SQ is low, that particular person will be very agitative, not an happy person. Not to criticize anybody. When I happened to read Einstein's biography, he was not a successful husband, and he had a lot of problems with his wife, even though he had delivered a lot on the front of science. So this was not a balanced living, as if we can say that. So balanced, meaningful living will result into rich, positive inner living, emanating happiness. Not only I am happy, but the vibrations are such that whosoever comes in contact also becomes happy. And if you see Gnani or Tirthankaras or some such persons, if you are coming from outside, they have not spoken to you anything. You have not interacted with them. And suppose coming from outside you are agitated, disturbed. No sooner you enter that environment, you feel soothing, calming, as if everything has been cleared of you. Not only their gross presence, I'll just take a half a minute for narrating one particular person's experience which I just heard 15 days back. A person not known or exposed to all these things, and he was organizing a big social event and was very much disturbed as the ego of everybody was not being handled well. and so many people were involved. In this circumstance, he happened to go to Surya Mandir temple at 10:30 or 11 night. His friend says, go to sleep now, we'll talk in the morning. He was eager to talk his problems. He says, just lie down, we'll talk in the morning. He says, I don't know what happened. All burden of mine went away. The solution started springing from me. In the morning, I was a different person. Different energy springing from within. I didn't know what happened. So this is the power that not only the inner happiness emanates for themselves, even their environment, even when they are not present, their shashan affects the people to become happy. And the another ingredient of our inner self is, see, this talk has three components. One, some insights for daily living, which we all will find is easy to understand. Then I'll go to core part of our science of human living. Our human living is like a live experiment. And no sooner I say experiment, it has to have two components, experiment and experimenter. Now, what do I mean by experiment here? Experiment is a part where the things are happening, and it constitutes my own mind, body, speech. Not only mind, but the whole inner self machinery, which I'll come to. Speech and body, along with the surrounding circumstances and natural regulatory system, this constitutes the experiment. Then who is the experimenter here? I am. I am. Everybody is aware that I am. In whatever capacity, I am Shailesh, I am doctor, I am brother of somebody, I am sister. So I am and I am doer are the two common beliefs. So I am is the experimenter, and the things which is happening in the mind, body, speech, inner and outer circumstances constitutes the experiment. So which are the subtlemost truths about this experiment? And here I'll pose you with the two questions. What is in my realm and what is not in my realm? Because without understanding that, we cannot do any purusharth. So what is fate and free will? Fate is where I have some dependency, and free will is I am totally independent, including gross to subtle circumstances. So on one side, what is in my realm, whether I am an independent doer. On other side, understanding this science will make me understand the applied part, what is fate, what is free will, what is relative free will, what is real free will, and based on that, what should be my area of purusharth. We'll come to that. Now, Manish Bhai said, who is driving us? Usually our husband drives us, here you are self-driven, something. But suppose the car is very powerful, if the driver is not in a proper state, what happens? Once we were being driven by a very good drivers, and car was very high, Mercedes, BMW or something. And it was continuously showing the symbol of coffee cup there. We started wondering why it is showing coffee cup, what is going wrong? And we stopped by and they rang the service people. And he came out, the car is recognizing that you are not driving properly, probably you are feeling sleepy or you are driving jittery, so car is warning you drive properly. Wow. So the drivers, who is driving us from within, and here the drivers are my inner self, that is mind, reflective consciousness, intellect and ego. In the next slide will come what really our inner self constitutes about. Now, let us all of us think for a moment. Have we ever paid any attention to how the inner self machinery is working? What does it constitute? What are the properties? How does it really work? And without understanding that, can we get best out of it? So mind, reflective consciousness, intellect and ego, it's not all that. Hardware cannot work without software. So opinions, beliefs and visions, are we aware of the opinions being harbored? I'll share once I did experiment with myself. I prayed and sat for an hour. Let me look at the opinions which are going within Shailesh. And you won't believe, there was not a single person whom I have come across at some or other stage in the life for which this inner machinery of Shailesh had no opinion. For each and every person he had opinion, positive or negative, severe or mild. Even while traveling, in a plane or a car or on a train, somebody is sitting beside you or next to distance from you, and you do give opinion. He has no manner. He is mannerless or whatever. So opinions, beliefs or visions. Does this inner machinery work according to purpose or goal? Now, suppose you have a powerful car and you are enjoying and driving, but the car's GPS system will ask, please feed in the destination address. Now this beautiful human car, it runs for 80 hours, 90 hours, years, 100 years. Have we fed the destination of purpose or goal? Or keeps on running from morning to night, morning to night, morning to night? Intents and motives. And on the other side, we have inner weaknesses to influence this inner self machinery. Now here is another graphic to show the relative inner self and the outer self. Whatever goes in by five senses, inputs, goes through the filter of vision and belief. Cameraman knows that he changes the filter and the effect changes. And the Instagram has used it in his software that you can change the filter and you can change the effect. Here the filters are filters of beliefs, visions and opinions. The information goes in and our mind, reflective consciousness, intellect and ego reacts accordingly and comes out as action or speech. For a similar thing, every one of us sitting here or everyone in the family will react differently. Why? Because the filter of visions and beliefs are different. So this is another sort of graphic, how interactively this inner self machinery works. And here we want to know about little bit about distraction part also. Suppose I have come to USA for having satsang or interaction with us, and suppose somebody else starts me distracting, what happens? I'll be lost somewhere else rather than doing what was my aim or goal. Similarly, in every walk of life, we may have even decided goal, but we should be aware of distractions in the form of inner weaknesses or sensual pleasures. Enjoy, but let them not distract you of your tract of goal or purpose. There is no hindrance to enjoy. Dada Bhagwan or enlightened ones never say don't enjoy. They say enjoy whatever is available to you in front of you and naturally, but in normality. And karmic bonds. Now I go to little deeper parts of the things. I have said about visions, beliefs. Now can you ever think that I am is there? I am doesn't want to get distracted or look or view unclearly. But what is there is my inner karmic bonds, my dravya karma, my karmas which I have brought me, which serves as a spectacle in front of my eye. Suppose you are wearing a wrong number spectacle, or you have a cataract in front of your eye. No matter how much you struggle, your view will be different or unclear. Some wise person takes you to an ophthalmologist like me, because I can boast that, and within moments he either changes your glass or removes the cataract. Oh, world is beautiful. What changed? Neither you changed, neither the view changed. What changed is the viewing system, right? So here the karmic bonds, dravya karmana je chashma che, whatever I have brought with me, is working as another subtle filter in front of my pure knowing and seeing power, which is making me view differently. And subtle than that is state of being. In what state of being I am, that will come to later on in the session of Vitrag, Vignan, holistic science of today. So I am, state of being is the subtlemost part which is functional over there. Now let's try to correlate all this in our daily routine happenings. Happiness. What are all we looking for? Everybody, every creature. If it is to be answered in one word, it is happiness, right? In whatever way, whatever form one believes it to be. But single word is happiness. Now let us research little more about happiness. Now, does it come from finishing first? Like the racers are running here? In other words, is happiness lying in abundance? Or is happiness lying in comparison and competition? If it is lying in abundance, at least all of you here in USA should be always having smiling faces. Why? Because you have more than required. Your one fridge is lying idle in garage. You have one car extra, and I don't know how many clothes are there in everybody's wardrobe, and how many pair of shoes are there. I can't count that. So if it would have been abundance, you all must have been always with smiling faces. But it doesn't appear so. There is no again negation of having the things, but the research says something different. Second thing, is it in comparison and competition? What all are we doing? He has a bigger house than me. When can I have a bigger one? A junior surgeon is doing 100 surgeries a month, and I am doing only 30 to 40 surgeries a month, even though I am senior in career. Let me thrive more to reach 100. No sooner I do 100, I see somebody in Bombay doing 200. So I run further. So does this end? So this doesn't end. So Gnani Purush says that human mind drags us into competition and comparison. All horses run in race course. Only one horse gets number one. All others are breathless. And the first one always has a tension when I'll be surpassed by other. Then from where the happiness comes? In normal and natural living. Does the rose blossom in competition to somebody? Does mango become a lovely fruit in competition to somebody? No. It is a natural, normal process. Be normal and natural with yourself and you will blossom like anything. And what I talked before in comparison and competition is trying to find happiness at the level of ego or mind. Really, happiness is at the level of heart. How does it all come? Now, we see another scenario. Suppose few people, Manish Bhai and some Chicago people, decided and they are trying to hold this seminar. Are they going to earn any dollars out of that? No, they are putting from their pocket. From the moment they must have decided, ask them, they must have been started feeling happy, despite so many arrangement efforts. Why to go to such a big event? Suppose our grandson has a coming birthday after 15 days. And you decide in your mind that, okay, we'll call few children and celebrate the birthday. Yet you have not invited any single person, not spent a penny. Yet your heart starts feeling happy. Isn't that true? Or no? Suppose I decide that, okay, I'll help this patient. Yet I have not helped him. From the moment I decide, I first start feeling happiness or fulfillment within me. What is the secret here? Whatever action of my mind, body or speech which is going to make others happy will make me happy first. And this is the secret based on which the Eastern society has come up with various ways. There was one grandma. He was not able to pass her time nicely. Her son was understanding one. What he did, he said, Grandma, I'll get 100 chocolates you every day, which will cost 5 to 10 rupees, he said in his mind. You sit in the outla, in the outside, and whosoever child passes, you give one chocolate to him. And her whole day was passing happily. Small exercise. Giving grains to birds. Water to birds. This is the secret of the enlightened ones. Open the happiness shop. Have you ever seen the happiness shop anywhere? Walmart, Green Mart, Kmart, I don't know how many marts. But have you ever come across the board of happiness shop? What does the happiness shop mean? Just I will decide, it is my inner attitude, it's my inner decision that whosoever comes across me from morning to evening, let me try to give some happiness to somebody. It doesn't necessarily mean that I have to shell out dollars from my pocket. Economy is very bad, I can't do that. But my mind, body, speech is with me. If I hear somebody with smiling face, as Bhumika said, he or she will be happy. If I try to help somebody, try to give correct guidance. So happiness shop, obliging nature. Everybody says oblige others. Now I ask you the other question. Why should I oblige the others? I have enough of my problems. There is no other in my world. Why should I do that? Have you ever asked yourself, why should I oblige others? No. Because everybody says and we believe. I asked myself. And the answer I got was very interesting. Because I am not obliging others, I am obliging myself first. As I say, whatever action of my mind, body, speech, which are going to help others, going to make others will make me happy first. No sooner I decide to oblige or help, my inner self machinery gets uplifted, my understanding doors get open, I started getting positive energy, I start getting positive atoms and molecules inside, my aura becomes positive, and in the scheme of nature I'll attract positive people, attract positive audiences towards me. So it is not really obliging others, it is obligation on our own real self if we understand. So if I understand this much, Mahavir said, Yoga Upyoga Paropkarai. Use your mind, body, speech, intellect and time for others. But I say, he really didn't mean for others. He actually meant for yourself because it's in your self-interest. And expounding on to that, I realized that world is not different. There is no other in the world for me. World is me only. Why? Because each action, positive or negative, before affecting others, it affects me. So the title to this slide is World is Me Only. Somebody asked me that, okay, in a real term, you can say world is me or you are me. How in relative terms? And I got the answer from within. It is true even in relative terms because each interaction is affecting me positively or negatively. So after having learned this much, now let us examine the other scenario. Suppose I am here at USA and I get a feedback that in your absence, your hospital staff is paying all nonsense. You cannot imagine. What would happen? My mind and inner self machinery will start revolving. Okay, let me go to India, I'll them to task, I'll fire them and whatnot. Now they are enjoying with their wife. What happens to me? Before firing them, I am being fired. The mother-in-law decides, okay, let my daughter-in-law come in today, I'll show her the way, how it is to be done. The daughter-in-law is enjoying with our son or husband. What happens to us? So whatever action of my mind, body, speech which is going to hurt others will hurt me first. So this is the basic, simple, universal law. It transcends all religions, all beliefs, all faiths. You can just experiment with yourself. If I understand this much, what should be my resolution? I should resolve that let my mind, speech, body not hurt any living being in the world, and let my mind, speech, body make one and all happy. This is the prayer or resolution or decision I make every morning 5 times with my own inner self. And a word about relative happiness and real happiness. What is real versus relative happiness? Relative happiness is again not negated. But why it is known as relative? Because relative happiness is dependent on circumstances. Husband and wife, they are behaving very nicely with each other and the world is heaven for them. Someday, mood of somebody goes off, missiles start cracking around, and the same world becomes hell. So it is dependent on circumstances. Agreed. Let it be dependent on circumstances. Further than that, suppose we are given everything what we want. Good name, good fame, good money, good husband, good children, everything. Look at within you. Do you feel it is enough? Or do you feel still there is something more? Something missing? No, thirst is never quenched. The inner burning, slow burning, it is known as antardah or akurta vyakurta, just keeps on there because there is a science behind that. So relative happiness is one which is changing, which is associated with circumstances, which gives you happiness for some time, then you get bored. Suppose you go to a marriage of a very good friend of yours, and instead of one day, they keep you very nicely for 3 days. How many days would you enjoy? You will start feeling bored on a second or third day. Let's go to home. Let's remove all these ornaments. They are making me feel heavy. Let's have me normal life. And the real happiness is one which is independent of circumstances, which quenches the thirst, which leads you to the inner place. And it starts only after you know who am I, what is the real nature or true identity of my real self. So the wiser enlightened ones, I don't want you to sit like classmates. No, this is not the picture to give that signal, but the signal is keep in search of inner happiness. Now, if we come to the purpose of life, can you tell me how many of you are clear about the purpose of life? Can raise the hands? Yes, there are few hands which are being raised that I am clear about purpose of my life. I'm glad to see that. Now, Gnanis say that purpose of life can be broadly divided or can be shortly summarized in two. Number one, on a relative aspect, interactive living, mind, body, speech, and inner and outer world, which is a changing world. Just decide that I want to use my mind, body, and speech for others because that is for me and that's the best way of living. Just one fundamental. And on a real side, try to know who am I. You can say it is a self-realization, you can say Atma Sakshatkar, you can say Atma Darshan, you can say know the Brahma, you can use any word. In a scientific terms, there is inner element which I'll come to the point later on. If I should try to know what is that element, what are its properties, what is its function, and how it relates with the other elements. Now, holistic visions for harmonious living. Every one of us wants to live happily, harmoniously, without any voice being raised. When I came first time in US in 94, in a way I was very happy to notice that here nobody shouts. Nobody has a high-pitched voice. And in India, in home, in outside, there is no place without high-pitched sounds. So I was happy that way. That here the people seem to be clash-free. But on diving deeper, it's not so. So clashes within and clashes without. Naturally, everybody realizes that it leads to lack of harmony and happiness. It leads to my lack of my positive energy and or brings me to the negative energy. And if they are not resolved within time, even it can lead to tensions, psychiatric illnesses, depressions, anxieties, and which you can boast that we are highest in number in that because the sale of psychiatric medicine is highest here. So the ways to avoid clashes. First, I should decide that I want to avoid clash. No sooner I decide, my inner light will show me the way out, how to sail through without entering into clashes. Does it mean surrender? As he was telling me, keep the mouth shut? No. It is not surrendering, it is resolving the situation with a proper understanding. Because if you surrender, it is like a press spring, which you never know when it will bounce back. And when it will bounce back, it will throw everything away. So first is my inner decision, my conviction that everybody may be correct by his or her own viewpoint. Not only I am right, everybody may be right by his or her own viewpoint. So I should decide to resolve situations amicably with equanimity. A step further, suppose I have tried to avoid the clashes. I am just omitting the inner clashes because the time is not sufficient for me to dwell onto that. Second, today, if you research what we are suffering from or what is tearing away our happiness and harmony, in the time of our grandfathers and forefathers or even our fathers and forefathers, we had seen the days of scarcity. And that was probably leading to some unhappiness. Today, our grandsons can get 3 Reebok shoes instead of 1. So scarcity is not the issue. Then what is the issue? Issue is difficulty to adjust with each other. There are 4 people in the house cannot adjust with each other. Parents, son, daughter-in-law, and the adjustment is difficult. So Gnani says that one who can master the art of adjusting everywhere, under all type of situations, can not only become happy in this world, but can sail to the liberation. Now again the big question, how to do that? The science always has 5 W's. How, why, when, what, for, whatever it is. So now we'll look for 1 or 2 visions. I want to adjust. How can I? My personality is different, my wife's personality is different, my son's personality is different, my daughter-in-law personality is different. We believe that we should get up early, 5:36, and we should finish all the things, and our daughter-in-law believes, Mom, allow us to sleep till 7. Why are you making all the noise in 5:30 and 6? Don't you understand that we are tired? So here the key is, have you gone to the garden? All of us. And have you gone to the farms? What is the difference? Do you like only the farms or do you like the gardens, Dr. San? Gardens. And in garden, does every plant or tree is same or different? Different. Still we like it. Why? Do we go to rose and ask, why don't you have a lovely fruit like a mango? Or do we go to blueberry and mango and ask, why don't you have a lovely flower like a rose? No. Because we understand that even though each one is different, none is without a fruit or flower. So we should enjoy whatever the fruit or flower that plant or tree has and never complain of what one is not having. And what do we do here in the house, at the workplace, and wherever we go? Our human mind always tries to find out what she doesn't know, what he doesn't know, why you are not like this, why you are not like that. If I have the vision, then each human is a natural tree or a plant, natural creation, having his or her own fruits or flowers in the form of positivities, virtues or abilities. A good person, a good householder, a good manager is one who knows what the other person knows and uses in the best way and never complains about what one doesn't know, right? So if I have this vision, my house or my workplace is a good garden, and that makes my adjustment very simple. Home, heaven on earth. Who will not like a home to be a heaven on earth? All of us will like to have this life. And here the pictures are smiling. But is the reality always like that? Oh, everybody says no. Behind the closed doors, the reality is not always the same. So let's talk of husband-wife first, because that's the most prominent scenario, right? Now, we believe that this is the most pious relation, but unfortunately or surprisingly, I was hearing someday that in USA, the percentage of singles is more than 37% or something. And that was in some US magazine only. More than 37% or something like that, people opt to remain single. Why? Because they cannot adjust and manage, whatever it is. So it should be in a best friendship way. No sooner the belief changes that she is my wife or he is my husband, the whole software machinery starts changing from within. So the code has to be, it should be a best friendship relation. Now two I are there. Now Gaur Maharaj says that you are merging. We also start to merge, try to merge, but the two I do not merge. They remain separate. That's all right. As long as one I is loving, sharing, caring and friendly with the other I, it is win-win. But when, the bell has rung very